All right, let's take a look at this drill because this is another example where Beyond the Whiteboard does not have this exactly worded drill. So we're just going to call these handstand push-up hip drives. Beyond the Whiteboard, we had to plug it in as something called hollow to hip drives, but we don't need to worry about hollow. I want you to watch this gentleman. We're going to take a look through my saved videos here. He's bringing his knees to his chest, kicking out his hips, right? Bringing his knees to his chest, kicking out his hips. So you can see that there's like a straight line essentially from his knees to the portion of his mid to upper back that's attached to the floor. So basically what this is supposed to simulate is this gentleman's got his hands up. He's kind of pretending like he's on a wall. And when you're doing a handstand push-up, you do bring your knees down. So in other words, you flex the hips just to violently extend them. And what we're hoping for here, this is like the missing piece, right? For most people's handstand push-ups, there is an aggression that absolutely has to happen. And if you think about it, we've really been working on that aggression this cycle with pulls on our Monday, Friday lifting complexes, violent hip extension. And there's honestly not much in CrossFit that you can accomplish well or efficiently without getting that violent hip drive in. So all we're asking is to like give that a shot. And basically what we sometimes see is a muted hip where it takes the feet hitting the ground before the hips extend. So this is the kind of thing where it's very easy for a coach to see from the side whether or not you're doing it right. Also, no harm in doing it wrong other than poor muscle memory. So sometimes ask a coach what they see, or maybe even take a video of yourself. Are the hips locking out while the feet are still in the air and then staying that way? That's the kind of violent hip extension we're looking for. I'm going to watch another person do it. This person is a little less aggressive. They don't bring their knees to their chest, but I could see some people doing it this way. Bottom line, this is a lesser version of that same drill, but the hips extend pretty well, and then they remain extended and the butt off the ground when the feet hit the ground. So I'm happy with that. I want to show a third version of this drill that we're not going to do today. And the reason I like this and the reason we're not going to do it should be pretty obvious. We don't have a brick wall. So this is not a bad way to do it, where we're sending our legs forward into space rather than to the ground, because that's a little bit more like what a handstand push-up would do. So he's going knees to chest, flinging his feet and hips up, extended. He's got a straight line from his feet, essentially, all the way to the low back or the portion of his back that's on the ground. We're not going to do this because we could break the wall. But if you have access to an unbreakable brick wall like this, not a bad place to do it. So it's working both on violent hip extension, and then eventually this would turn into timing, because it would be knees to chest, and then just as your hips extend, you're pressing away from the ground if you were doing a handstand push-up, which we're not. We're just working on violent hip extension. We got to work on that so frequently and so well before we're ready for a lot of gymnastics, honestly. So good luck with this one. Have fun with it.